JOJO Bizarre Adventure is probably one of the most popular animes, having a really good fan base, having amazing cosplayers, and even amazing memes. At first, I didn't really get into JOJO, mainly because it wasn't for me, and I was one of those people that always judge JOJO without watching. So in this video, I decided to watch part 1 of JOJO. And if you guys want to join my bizarre journey through JOJO, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. They really mean a lot to me, and let's discuss some JOJO. So this series is created by Hirohiko Araki. I probably butchered that. Please don't hurt me. Story follows our main character, Jonathan Joestar. He is the heir to the wealthy Joestar family, and his adopted brother Dio wants to inherit that, so Dio has tried every other way to make sure he's up in line before Jonathan. In front of Jonathan's father, Dio is such a kind-hearted person and well-mannered compared to Jonathan, who is not. Dio has some sinister plans to make sure he gets that fortune before Jonathan. So basically, Dio does the righteous thing, the best thing, and he makes Jonathan's life a living hell by kissing his girlfriend, murdering his dog, and even poisoning his adopted father. What a great person Dio is. I mean, if that doesn't show how much of a good person he is, I don't know what does. How this whole series is basically Dio versus Jonathan. For a better understanding of this beef, think of the Kendrick and Drake beef. You choose who's who in this situation. But there's actually more to this whole story. Dio was so petty that he lost to Jonathan, he decides to turn himself into a vampire. And he has the nerve to feel like he's the victim in the situation, even though he did those horrible things to Jonathan. Like, bro, you basically ruined this dude's life, and you want to feel like you're the victim, bro? Not happening. Now that Dio has vampire powers, he decided to take revenge onto Jonathan. So even the playing field, so Jonathan can get his revenge, rightfully so, he decides to learn a new ability, and the ability is called Hamon. And for the life of me, they remind you about this ability the whole entire show. If I had to hear about Hamon, I was about to Hamon myself. That didn't make any sense, but you get my point. They remind you about this ability this whole entire show, and I was so tired of hearing it. And I wish I had a counter for how many times I've heard it. It's stuck in my head for the rest of my life because of the amount of times they mention it. So with that, JoJo decides to face Dio, now using the ability Hamon, because that's the weakness of the vampire, sunlight. And Hamon is basically the heat of the sun, so they use that against Dio. After beating Dio again, Jonathan and everybody else is able to live normal lives, able to relax and have a beautiful life. Jonathan especially, he gets married, he's going on his vacation with his wife, and nothing could go wrong at all. Just a nice vacation. Oh wait, Dio's back. Instead of in a full body, he's now a head. He's literally a head in a jar. I have never seen this type of hatred in my life. Dude gets defeated multiple times and he still wants to make Jonathan's life miserable. After wounding Jonathan sees that there's no way out, holds Dio in his hands, and the boat explodes. Now, I thought that Jonathan was going to be able to pull through, but no, he's actually dead, which was really, really surprising because I thought this whole anime was just going to be Dio and Jonathan going back and forth and see who ends up surviving, because Dio has infinite lives, apparently. I was really surprised when they kept going with the story, but we fast forward a few years and we meet a character named Jonathan Joestar. He's basically the opposite of Jonathan. He's more rude and not well-mannered compared to Jonathan. And he has this thing where you can predict what we're about to say. He's basically like a trickster. But instead of Joseph having to fight a crazy, hateful vampire, he actually has to face other pillars of the mask with his trusted friend, Caesar. Which I gotta say, Caesar's gotta be one of my favorite characters of all time. His ability is just bubbles. And the bubbles remind me of SpongeBob. Like, in the game where he just has bubbles, it's so hilarious. And Caesar was probably one of my favorite characters. And also, the other character I like is Speedwagon. Dude is a homie for life. He's always been by the Joestars ever since he aligned himself with Jonathan, and he's been looking out for them for the longest time. So that's a homie. But goodness gracious, every time he's even commentating on a fight, Joestar, JoJo, no, JoJo. And it just goes on and on. He sets the dramatic tone for every single fight. Every fight he's not in is just missing that Speedwagon touch to it, because he always adds this dramatic thing to it. And keep in mind, this whole show seems dramatic. Like, every time they're about to fight, they legit do like these mini poses. It's like, how am I going to take this seriously when some dude is just posing in front of me, thinking of an attack? I just see someone just pose right in front of me. It's hilarious. And I get why people like Baki, because this show is just so ridiculous, but it's also really, really fun. There's a lot of cool moments that happen in here. And there's also some ass-pull, like, plot convenience in this show, and I don't fault it for that. It's just hilarious, the fact that they just pull something out of nowhere. Like, there's certain things that are not even possible, but this whole series makes it possible, and it's hilariously fun, and I like this series. I can't wait to cover more of it. And if you guys want me to cover more, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you guys think of part 1? I thought it was okay. And I think once I get into the other parts, I think my opinion is going to be sway if I think this is probably the best or the worst part in the JoJo series. Like I said, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.